everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at 7 small party games. I love party games. It's a good time of year for me to talk about party games. Not every party game is created equal, although I would argue that in the year 2024, many good party games have been released. Are these those good ones? Well, let's find out. Here we go. The first one we're going to talk about is The Vibe. This is from a new company, Illumi. But the designer, Jacob Jaskov, is a designer of Fog of Love in the past. So this is a party game which has a cheeky gentleman going shh on the front of it. And it is a bit of a association style game. Let's take a look at it. Before I go over Vibe, I should mention the rules are in the cover and the bottom of the box. But anyhow, the Vibe comes with a bunch of famous paintings and basically public domain artwork on one side of cards and words on the other side of these basically postcard cards. In each game, you're going to put out, or each round of the game, you're going to put out 5 pictures in front of everybody, and you're also going to put out 5 words. Progress, numbness, guilt, hope. So this is all random. And one person, each time someone's going to go first, and that person's going to be the vibe. And they're going to pick one of these categories here. So, let's see. Okay, I picked one, and I'm going to put them in order from least to greatest in that one. So let's see if I can get these together. There we go. I put these pictures in order. So they're from the beginning all the way to the end. And you have to guess as a group which of these it was. And the answer is fatigue. Because, well, that lady fell asleep there. That guy's painted so much he's dead. This guy looks really tired of being with her. I don't know why. This guy's not fatigued. He's getting ready to go out and have a day. And I don't know what these guys are doing. Anyhow, if we get it right, huzzah. If we get it wrong, too bad. How do you win? Well, you got to get it right 3 times in a row. There's also a variant where you have to pick 2 word cards, and then you make 2 rows, left to right and top to bottom, and you're trying to get people to guess 2 words. The Vibe is okay in many regards. I'm giving this one a 6 out of 10 because I don't dislike the game. The idea of organizing something from smallest to greatest and having other people guess the topic is a really interesting one. There's some problems, though. I don't love that they used this public domain artwork. Yes, it's free. That's a good way to get a company off the ground, I guess. But with so many games out there that are using fun artwork like Dixit and games like that, Detective Club, that have this weird fun artwork, that artwork is just so interesting. This artwork is... You're judging it in ways it wasn't meant to be, when it was painted. Some of it's just going to be off-putting. It's odd. I don't know. I don't love that. And I also don't love that this is being marketed almost too seriously, like, hey, this game's going to get people to talk about feelings. Oh, okay, I just want to play a fun party game. So, like I said, it's fine. I don't know that it's particularly different than other party games that are out there. The crossways is slightly interesting, but sometimes you just have stuff like, there'll be a word out there that isn't being used simply because the kid or person playing the game is like belligerent. That's a weird word. Like a more esoteric of the adjectives isn't going to be used. Like democracy. Just doesn't work with pictures like love. That one you can use very easy. Loneliness. But then sometimes you also get loneliness and serenity at the same time. And you're like, well, okay. They're going to have some similarities to them. Like I said, it's fine. DroPolter is a game from Oink Publishing. They make these small little funky games. And this one comes with a bunch of weird pieces as well as some jingle bells. Here's how it plays. This is the game. You're going to have a bunch of cards, and there are 5 different objects, and you're going to each player's going to take those and put them in their hand, shake them up, keep it in one hand, and turn it face down like this. Then you will turn over the top card. And this says, I need to drop the shell and the key. So I just need to do that with one hand. Hey, first person to do it grabs the ghost. If you're the first person to grab the ghost and you've dropped those, if you drop anything else, you can't win that round. And I get a bell. That bell's in my hand. So now we turn it over. Got to drop the cracker. and that as fast as you can. If I do that, yeah, I just got another bell. How do you win? You get 5 bells. Here's the problem, though. If I'm ever dropping stuff and a bell falls out of my hand, it stays out of my hand. So be careful. The more bells you have, the easier it is to drop them. That's how you play. I am highly amused by this game. Ghosts versus palm muscle. That's the tagline on the back. And this game has some pretty clever things. I mean, first of all, it is what it is. You see it, you're dropping stuff from your hand, that's it. You have the things, see how fast you can drop from your hand, which means the fastest person is going to win, and you can get better. You're not allowed to use your other hand. You are allowed to look and use your thumb and fingers and twist your palm, do whatever it takes to get them off, and I like that concept. But I can see some people are going to be better at it than others. However, the bell mechanism is a great catch-up mechanism because those bells make it harder and harder. You have 4 bells in your hand. There's a good chance you're going to be a little bit slower. You don't want to drop one. But you are going to hurry to win, and then you drop a bell and you don't. And that's it. There's not much more to talk about this game, but it's a fun little game. I'm going to stick it in the Dice Tower library, see if people are amused by it as I am. An 8 out of 10, DroPolter. Contrarium. You're like, oh, Tom, that's you. Well, maybe. So, have you ever seen, I mean, most people have seen the show Family Feud, where they ask a bunch of people some questions, and then you try to guess the most guessed answer. Well, in this one, they're asking you, the question's always going to be the same. What is the opposite of this? And you are trying to guess the most guessed answer. But these aren't opposite of hot, because we know the opposite of hot is cold. It's more like, what is the opposite of a table? Well, what is the opposite of a table? Well, this game aims to find out. Let me show you. In this game, you can play with pretty much any cards you want. They have 3 different levels. Everyone gets a piece of paper and a pen, and each round of the game, someone's going to read the question. What's the opposite of a celebration? Everyone writes that down. Once everyone's writes it down, you turn it over. Did anyone write funeral or mourning? You get a point. If no one wrote that, then criticism, disapproval, etc., etc. You might have written war as the opposite of a celebration. Who knows? If you write demonstration, you're only going to get it if no one has done 1 through 8. The game does have a rule. If 2 people write the same answer and it's not on here, that answer counts as the number 3 position. Let me show you some opposite. What's the opposite of a fist fight? What do you think? For me, the opposite of a fist fight would be a hug. Nope, they got gunfight, sword fight, peace. Hug is number 4. A dog fight. Love is number 9. What's the opposite of orange? I think I would say banana. Banana's not even on the list. It's green, then apple, then red, then lemon, then yellow, then blue, then mandarin. So, from what I can tell in the rules, they asked a bunch of people these questions and came up with them, and there's a lot of questions in here. And so you're just going to play through a bunch of rounds and have a target score. Maybe you said the first person to 7 wins, and that's how you play. I'm giving this game a 7 out of 10. I really do enjoy it. I love the conversations I have. I want to be clear, though. I am the only person at the Dice Tower who likes this game much. A few people are like, it's okay. Most people disliked it because they didn't like the order of the answers on the back. I don't think that's the point. I think the point is kind of discovering what those answers on the back. I don't take this game very seriously at all. And I'm amused, to find what the opposite of something is. Let me see. I'll pull some random ones out here from level 2 and see if I get them. What is the opposite of mascara? I would guess, the brush that takes makeup off. Nope, natural lashes. Duh. What is the opposite of a secret? Truth. Nope, it's story. Truth was number 6. What is the opposite of a skyscraper? A basement. Nope, a house. What is the opposite of a slap? A kiss. A kick is the number 1 answer. Kiss was number 2. What is the opposite of watching sport? Playing sports. Ah, that one I got the number 1 answer. What is the opposite of a swimming pool? The desert. No, the sea, ocean, beach. Desert's not even on the list. And I like that. I don't know why that amuses me so much. I'm going to keep this as just a kind of a side in my own house, to mess with these things. What's the opposite of ice cream? I think it's soup, but it might not be. And just the discussions that this presents that are arguments, I don't know. I'm amused by it. You might not be. I get it. But at least you know now how it plays. 7 out of 10 for me. Contrarium. Dumb questions to ask your friends. This is a game from Big Potato. Of course it is. This is a game in which you're going to ask a question. Everyone answers that question. And then you have to figure out, one person needs to figure out what the question is. In this game, you will have various categories. They're in a box here. Famous people, objects, food, numbers, players, and animals. There's way more player cards than anything else. And this box, and you just pull out a card based on the category. And so one person's going to be closing their eyes, and everyone else will look at the category. So let's say it's animals. If Michael Phelps was reincarnated as an animal, which would it be? So everyone shouts out an answer. Leopard, cheetah, whatever it might be. Or maybe it's objects. And objects, name an object you would own that you would leave your best friend in your will. Like my PlayStation, or whatever. People shout a bunch of answers. Once everyone shouted out an answer, you take that and you mix it with a bunch of other cards. And then the guesser who had their eyes closed will turn over these cards one at a time. And they'll be like, maybe. They'll put it on a 2. And they have to assign each of these cards as they pull it to a number. This is the one that they think the answer is. They've heard all the answers. They're trying to figure out the question. Now, if whatever the one it is, so this one, it's right here, that's how many points you get. So you're going to, this time, they're going to get 2 points. Let me just show you a couple of the other examples. What famous person do you think is the weirdest? Camera on their phone, famous people. What food would you eat out of the trash? How many different fruits and veggies have you eaten so far today? And which player, these always is about one of the players at the table, is most likely to spill drink all over themselves or the other person on a first date? And so that one's going to be a little bit more personal. You'll go around so everyone has been the guesser once or twice, depending on the number of players, and whoever has the most points is the winner. So I like this game a lot. I'm giving it a 7. I would give it a higher score if the player category wasn't in here. Because the player category is the mean category. Now, you can skip this when you play, but it is the biggest category. But, like, which player do you think has the weirdest and wackiest dreams? Which player would make the best clown? Which player is most likely to invent a board game? Which player would survive in the wilderness for the longest? You have one phone. If they answer, you're fine. If they don't, you die. Which player do you call? So for the most part, it's not too bad, but you're still voting on a person, and sometimes these questions will have a chance to make someone feel bad. But you might love that too, so that's not an issue. It is an interesting game. There are some flaws. If you turn over the cards, and the card that you're looking for is the last card, you may not put it in the 4, because as you turn over each card, you want to get the 4 slot. And if you turn over, you're like, I think this answers all the questions. It's 4. Sometimes it's obvious. If the answer is skyscraper, and it's like, what is a vehicle you like to drive in? Well, skyscraper is automatically out. So I can put that in 0. So I can throw ones out. If you get one that kind of fits early on, then you wonder. But it is a good discussion type game, and it plays pretty quickly. So with those caveats in mind, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. A fun event to play with folks. Lovestruck is making fun of The Bachelor and other like shows. In the show, you're coming on looking for love, and of course, you aren't going to find it because most people are there for the wrong reasons. I do find it funny that in this game, some players are there for the wrong reasons, while in real life, my argument would be every single person on that show is there for the wrong reason, and those shows are an abysmal failure and some of the worst trash television that exists out there. That's going to affect my review of the game, probably. Let's find out. In Lovestruck, everyone is going to have their own role. The foreigner, the troublemaker, the free spirit, the 1 over 30, the sweetheart, the personal trainer. On the back, it has a bunch of actions for you, but you're also going to have some intentions. Are they cruel? So many people will be there for the right reasons. Some people are there for the wrong reasons. These will be the number of those. There's more right reasons than wrong reasons, but what happens at the end of the game? You want to be a couple with someone else who has the right reasons. Then you win. If you're by yourself, you don't win. If you're with someone who's with the wrong reasons, neither of you wins. However, the bottom is viewership. If the viewership ever hits 10 million, well, the world as a whole loses because they've been watching this piece of trash. But also, anyone who's there for the right reasons loses, and people for the wrong reasons win. You play through 10 rounds of the game here, and there's villa rounds here. And when you have a villa round, each person's going to draw some cards, and then you'll do actions. You have to pay cards. Most of the cards in the deck are either drama or love cards. And you pay these to do actions. You can couple up with somebody else. You can break up for free, steal the spotlight. start a rumor, diffuse the tension, or we need to talk. Looking at your thing. Then there will be some dates. One person is the main character. They'll send some people out on a date. Those people will all be playing a card mixed together. You'll reveal them. If they're all love, viewership goes down by 1. But if there's one drama in it, its viewership's going to go up by 1. And then there's also special cards like this Call a Villa Meeting. These can be played as a villa action to do all sorts of crazy things. That's it. That's how you play. Couple up or jump in a pool. I don't know. Even though I think The Bachelor and its related kiln are the trashiest of trash shows, I mean, I cannot imagine my wife wanting to marry me after I would sit there and agonize over a decision between her and others. Like, oh, it's so hard. It shouldn't be hard when you know you love someone, but I digress. This is kind of corny and silly, and that's the only thing, actually. The corniness and silliness of it keeps me from trashing it more. I give it a 5. It actually has some elements in it from Battlestar Galactica board game, of all things, where you throw in cards and see it. The problem is the game is too easy for the wrong reason people to win. The people there for the right reasons need to suss out as soon as they can who's there for the right reasons, and they're the ones they send out on dates consistently. But that's kind of tricky. The people who are there for the wrong reasons can kind of just start trashing the game, and there's not a lot you can do to stop them. You're not voting them off the island or anything. So that's a different reality show. It's fine, it's funny, it's silly, and it's theming, I suppose. I think some people are going to enjoy that, but the gameplay just really doesn't work that well. So this one is a 5 out of 10 Lovestruck. Also, this cover ain't great. You make me want to tilt and shout. Tilt the seesaw, shout and answer. This is a 2-player or a team versus team game. Let me show you. So this device is the whole part of the game. There's a metal ball dropped in it, and you will just tilt it towards you, and you want the ball to come out on your side. There's 3 category cards placed in the middle of the table from a big deck of category cards. You can see sort of what they're about, but I'm not sure. This is about burgers. Oh, it's fast food chains. So I put the ball in on my turn, and I say Wendy's. Now, my opponent has to say something else. They might say McDonald's, which will have the ball start going their way, and I'll say, well, Burger King. And then they'll say Taco Bell, and I'll say KFC, and they'll say Popeyes, and I'll say Subway, and then they'll say Starbucks, and then for a moment we'll all argue whether Starbucks is a fast food or chain or not. If it comes out on your side, you're going to take this yellow block here, and you're going to move it forward 1. Now, what that does is this board doesn't go down towards you as much. You'll see here, all the way down to the bottom, here, it goes down farther. And each time you get it correct, if you get it all the way to the end, you'll see that the ball rolls much more slowly towards you at this point, as opposed to the other way, where once it gets going, it's going to be much faster. If you win, though, with your block in this position, you win the game. Once this clue's missed, you'll put a new one in. You pick one. Pokemon and Super Mario characters. Well, that one seemed more easy. This one says shout. 5-letter words. Huh, what do you go? Anyway, that's how you play. I played this one several times this year. We've played this one live. Actually, most of these games we played live here. Tilt and shout works really well. The catch-up mechanism is superb because if you're really smart or you're just faster than the other team, eventually the ball comes and you're giving them more time. I love that. The categories, it's one of those games where you're shouting out answers to category. There's other party games like that. Hey, can you name sandwiches? Sure I can. Hoagie and Reuben and sub and hot dog and then you just have that one moment of blank. With teams, you kind of go back and forth, A, B, B, C, C, and back like that. It's hilarious fun. It's obviously using this gimmick with the tilt device, but I do like it. 8 out of 10. Ghost can't draw. Hey, remember when you were a kid and your parents didn't want you playing with the Ouija board? Well, maybe that was just me. The Ouija board is not really a game, and you can argue whether it's a real device or not. But in reality, 99% of the time, at least, someone is pushing that device. This game takes that and turns it into a drawing game, like this. At the beginning of each round in this game, you're going to take one word card from a pile of word cards and mix it with you are a paranormal investigator, so that there's cards equal to the number of players. You'll shuffle these, everyone gets a card. You either have this, or you will have the word that you're trying to draw. You're going to place this device, which is a plastic device and a marker in it, on top of a frame, which has this, for some reason, it doesn't attach. I'm not sure why. You'll place this in the middle. Then everyone places their hands on it, closes their eyes. There's an app you can play for music and more. And then no one pushes except the ghost, and the ghost is trying to draw the picture, right? When it's done, when the time runs out, you have a 30-second time limit on this. Everyone will look at the picture, but you're also going to vote on who you think the ghost is. Everyone says 1, 2, 3. You vote on the ghost. You point your finger at them. The ghost points their finger at themselves. Everybody has 1 voting chip, but if you correctly identify the ghost, you get 2. The ghost will then take their word, and they are going to shuffle it with 7 other words. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you'll shuffle those up. You'll put them out here so everyone can see all the words, which you can see are pretty basic words. And then everyone's going to vote on them. If you have 2 voting chips, you can vote on 1 word, or you can vote both of your chips on the same word. The ghost gets 1 point for each person who picked a word, not number of chips, but each person. And everyone else gets 1 point for each answer they put on. So if it was light bulb, the green player would get 2 points if they did that, and the gray player would get 1, and the ghost would get 2. Whoever's the ghost then automatically becomes a paranormal investigator for the next round. The rest of the cards are shuffled, and you redo it. That's how you play. Whoever has most points at the end is the winner. The central conceit of this game is pretty funny because one person's pushing it, everyone else does, and the drawings always look terrible. That being said, a couple things. First of all, the device could be built better. That's just simple fact. This device could be a better device. I wish it was. I wish the board was better. The device, you put those markers in. When do those markers run out? You need to find a marker that fits exactly into that hole, which is going to be a problem. Secondly, you have to tell everyone at the table, hey, if you're not the ghost, you mustn't do anything. You must let it glide. You must allow the ghost to move, because if you don't, the ghost can't draw very well at all. Thirdly, it's going to be pretty easy much of the time to figure out who the ghost is, but I'm glad that that's not a big deal. It just gives the other person 2 votes. And honestly, I'm not sure what the ghost has. They don't get any benefit for hiding. I'm not sure if no one guesses them. I mean, you're just getting 2 votes, so you're letting other people possibly get more points, but you're also allowing them to possibly guess your answer more easily and get points. So it's got kind of a wash. It's more entertaining than not. The actual thing is guessing what the picture is. It's not very long. You could have a game where someone who really wants to be a ghost is not one, because the game does a smart thing in not allowing the same person to be a ghost twice in a row, but it's still very possible that you won't get picked, especially if there's 5 rounds and the game goes to, well, 6 players. But I'm still amused by the whole thing. I like it. I wish it was better, because if it was, it might become one of my favorite party games. As is, though, it's a 7 out of 10. That's Ghost Can't Draw. And those folks are a bunch of party games. Some interesting ones. Actually, I think of the bunch here, my favorite is Tilt and Shout and DroPolter, which might be considered the stupidest of the bunch. But that's what party games are. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching 7 Short Party Reviews here on the Dice Tower. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you, and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vasel.